Introduction. Fibers can be obtained from both plants and animals. Some familiar plant sources of fiber are cotton, jute, and linen. Some well-known animal sources of fiber are sheep, goat, camel, alpaca, and a llama. If we treat insects as different from animals, then the silkworm can be classified as an insect source of fiber. In this lesson, we learn about an animal fiber, namely the wool, in detail. Objectives. At the end of this lesson, you'll be able to list the characteristics of wool, describe sheep wool, list the animals that yield wool, describe the process of obtaining wool from sheep, explain the processing of fibers into wool. Wool is a protein fiber. It is crimped and elastic. Crimp makes wool bulky and helps it retain heat. Wool absorbs moisture and sound because it is hollow. Wool is normally creamy white in color, but it can also be black, brown, or silver in color. Wool is hypoallergenic. In other words, it causes fewer allergies in human beings. The main source of wool is sheep. The wool-yielding animal bears a thick coat of hair on its body. The hair traps a lot of air. Since air is a poor conductor of heat, the hair keeps the animal warm and dry, allowing it to live in cold and harsh climates. The hairy skin of the sheep has two types of fibers: the coarse beard hair and the fine soft hair close to the skin. The fine hair provides the fibers for making woolen clothes, and coarse hair provides wool for making carpets. Some animals other than the sheep also produce wool. They are yak. Yak wool is common in Tibet and Ladakh. Angora goat. It is found in hilly regions such as Jammu and Kashmir. The wool obtained from it is called Angora wool. Kashmiri goat. The wool obtained from it is very soft and is used in weaving fine shawls. These shawls are popular as Pashmina shawls in India. Camel. The fur on the body of a camel is also used as wool. Llama and alpaca. They are found in South America and they yield wool. It is time to check your understanding. Here is an interactive assessment for you. Identify the animal fiber by clicking on the correct image. For the wool to be of good quality, sheep need to be fed a nutritious diet. Apart from what they get from grazing, they are fed a mixture of pulses, corn, and jowar. The sheep so reared develop a thick growth of hair. This hair is known as the fleece of the sheep and provides us wool. Let us study the process by which wool is obtained from sheep one step at a time. First, the fleece is removed from the body of the sheep. A machine is used for the purpose. The process of removing the fleece of the sheep from its body with the help of a machine is called shearing. Shearing does not hurt the sheep. This is because the uppermost layer of the sheep's skin is dead. Usually, hair is removed during the hot weather. This enables sheep to survive without their protective coat of hair. Then the sheared skin with hair is washed thoroughly in tanks. This exercise is undertaken to remove grease, dust, and dirt. This process is called scoring. The washed hairy skin is sent to a factory where hair of different textures are separated or sorted. The small fluffy fibers called burrs are picked out from the hair. Fibers are dyed in various colors as the natural fleece of sheep and goats is black, brown, or white. The fibers are straightened and rolled into yarn, and finally the wool is ready to use. It is time to check what you have learned. Drag and drop the correct option into the respective box. Summary. Let us summarize what we have learned. Wool is an animal fiber. It is obtained from sheep, goat, yak, camel, alpaca, and llama. Wool is a protein fiber. It is crimped and elastic. Removal of fleece from the body of sheep using a machine is called shearing. Washing the fleece to remove grease, dirt, and dust is called scoring. Introduction. Who doesn't like wearing garments made of silk? The shimmer of silk and its soft touch makes it choice of one and all. Silk saris of India are world famous. In India, silk is considered auspicious and is associated with festivals and celebrations. Be it Diwali, Dussehra, or Durga Puja, or a betrothal, wedding, or arrival of a new member in the family, silk adds grace to the occasion. In this lesson, we will learn about the characteristics and types of silks and also understand how the silk fabric is obtained from silkworms. Objectives. At the end of this lesson, you'll be able to understand what silk is, know the history of silk, list the characteristics of silk, explain the life cycle of a silk moth, describe the process of obtaining silk from cocoon. Silk is a natural protein fiber of exceptional strength, texture, and luster. The shimmer of silk fiber is the result of its triangular, prism-like structure. Silk is produced by many insects such as silkworms, bees, wasps, and ants that use it for building their nests. Spiders also produce silk, but the silk produced by silkworms only is processed into silk fabric. Silk was discovered first in China by a Chinese empress as far back as 3500 BC. In India, there is evidence that silk was in use during the Indus Valley civilization. Today, India is the second largest producer of silk. Bulk of it is produced in Karnataka. India is also the largest consumer of silk in the world. Some famous silks of India are Dharmavaram silk, Kanjivaram silk, Mysore silk, Banaras silk, Murshidabad silk, etc. Silk is a strong and resilient fiber. It is soft to touch, but at the same time, it is not slippery. It has sheen and luster. It is hypoallergenic, that is to say, it causes less allergies in human beings. It absorbs moisture. Silk is warm in winters and cool in summers. It is easy to maintain. Tussar silk, Munga silk, and Kosa silk are different varieties of silk. These silks are obtained from the cocoons spun by different types of moths. Mulberry silk is the most popular of all categories of silk and is produced by mulberry silk moth that completely feeds on the leaves of mulberry plant. These moths are reared indoors and completely domesticated. Most of the commercial silk is mulberry silk. The silk obtained from the cocoon of this moth is soft, lustrous, and elastic and can be dyed in beautiful colors. It is time to check what you have learned. Drag and drop the correct options into the blanks. The life cycle of a silkworm begins with the laying of a microscopic egg and ends with the emergence of a beautiful moth. Let's look at the different stages in the life cycle of a silkworm. The female silk moth lays tiny microscopic eggs at the end of summer. They remain dormant till spring. Come spring, tiny black caterpillars or larvae emerge from these eggs. These caterpillars feed on mulberry leaves and grow bigger and bigger. Then they spin a protective cocoon of silk threads around themselves. These cocoons are white or golden in color. Inside the cocoon, the caterpillars change into pupa. As long as the caterpillars pupate, they do not eat. After 2 or 3 weeks, beautiful silk moths emerge from the cocoons. Silk is processed from cocoons. Once the silkworms spin a protective cocoon around themselves, these cocoons are boiled in hot water to separate the silk fiber from the worms. Each cocoon is made of one single silk thread. The trick is to locate one end of the thread. Then it is easy to unwind the silk thread from the cocoon. The process of taking out threads from the cocoon for use as silk is called reeling. These silk threads are then used to manufacture silk fabric. Here's the life cycle of a silk moth. Drag and drop the correct image at the appropriate position in the given cycle. Let us start. Summary. Let us summarize what we have learnt. Silk is a natural protein fiber. Silk was first discovered in China. Silk is strong and resilient. Silkworms are caterpillars of silk moth. Silk fiber is obtained from the cocoons spun by silkworms.